Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Cherwin, the Director of Editorial Strategy here at Higher Ed Jobs. And today we are joined by our next author in residence, Dan Griffith. So, Dan is the author of Everyday Mediator, 7 Practices for Navigating Conflict. Thanks for joining me today, Dan.
Glad to be here.
So, let's get into our first question. Why did you write this book, Everyday Mediator?
Well, for years, I have been provided training on mediation in a workplace setting. That's been in higher education, but really, I've seen applications for practical, accessible skills in the hands of the non-experts, let's say, or as those who need to mediate and navigate conflict in their workplace and everyday situations, not so much the lawyer mediator such as I am to mediate in that world. So I just felt a practical, accessible uh, book that would help people do that in an engaging, what I hope is an engaging way to immediately get into helping others resolve conflict in the everyday workplace situations that they experience.
That's fantastic. I mean, to your point, it's an everyday workplace experience that happens to all of us. And when you were envisioning writing this book, who do you think should read this book? Like, what is the audience for this book?
I think the audience can be fairly broad, and that's the intent. It really is to put it in the hands of those in workplace settings. So we might logically think of HR professionals, those in institutional equity, ombuds, those kind of roles. But I often think of mediation skills as leadership skills. So certainly leaders at different levels, managers, but really all kinds of other areas where someone by their role or their interest needs to help others resolve conflict. So whether it's I've trained for employee assistance program counselors, mental health counselors, nurses, you name it, and also broadly. I mean, obviously, I know we have a education audience here, and that's been my main focus. But really, government, nonprofit, healthcare, you name it, all kinds of areas where I think people can pick up these tools readily with my book, I hope, to apply it in different ways to help others resolve conflict through mediated kind of conversations.
That's fantastic that it applies to such a broad audience. And I think the thing that's very interesting is you don't need to have the title
Right.
mediator in your immediate title, right? Like I am a
That,
director, but there are times that I do have to navigate conflict.
right. Well, one distinction I make is there's professional mediators to have that training to do that. One term I use is professionals who mediate. They don't necessarily have all those certified mediator license kind of things, but they have practical skills and need to mediate situations in the workplace. Yeah.
Great. So my last question here for you is if you could summarize if there's one takeaway, I mean, obviously you're talking about a lot of great things in the book and you're applying 7 practices for navigating conflict, but what would one thing that you'd want your readers to take away?
I think a main thing is that you can do this. You have the confidence and the skills and the gravitas right now to be a mediator in the world in which you serve and work and live. And you can pick up these skills readily and really have the skills. My intent is to fortify those skills, the skills you already have with tools that are in the book. So, yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Dan, for joining me today for a quick take on your book. And I encourage everyone to check out Dan's upcoming blog post on Higher Ed Jobs under our Authors in Residence series. And if you haven't, make sure you pick up a copy of Everyday Mediator. And we thank you again for joining us, Dan.
Thank you, Kelly. I enjoyed it.
Thanks. Take care.